Can you call the roll?
Commissioner Bernstein?
Here.
Commissioner Grossberg?
Here.
Commissioner Flores Weisskopf? Here. Vice President Ruttenberg?
Here.
President
I'm
Kaplan?
here as well. Okay, first up is a public hearing on ordinance 19-07, the 2019 supplemental budget and appropriation. A public hearing on the proposed supplemental budget and appropriation ordinance for the 12-month period ending December 31st, 2019 for the Park District of Highland Park is now in session. Roxanne, can you take the roll again?
Commissioner Bernstein?
Here.
Commissioner Grossberg?
Here.
Commissioner Flores Weisskopf? Here. Vice President Ruttenberg?
Here.
President Kaplan?
I'm here as well. As required by law, the budget was, with the board's consensus, laid down for a period of 30 days. The document was available to be reviewed at West Ridge and the Recreation Center and the district's website. Also, in accordance with the law, notification of tonight's hearing was posted in the Highland Park News on October 10th of 2019. Are there any citizens in attendance that would like to speak to this budget? Are there any members of the Board of Commissioners who wish to comment on this document?
Just one question. Did anybody track any hits on the website? If anybody actually looked at it?
Yeah, not that I know. Liz, I don't think he. Yeah. Nobody. Well, that's your next question, but
How do you know what my next question's going to be?
I know what Brian's next question is
Okay.
going to be.
That's my only question.
Okay.
Okay. Let the record show that there were no members of the community or Board of Commissioners who have chosen to speak anymore on this issue. Executive Director Romes, are you aware of any written communications that were received relative to the proposed budget?
We received no written communication.
Okay, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Second.
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 Any additional discussion on the motion? Okay, Roxanne, can you call the roll again?
Commissioner Bernstein?
Aye.
Commissioner Grossberg?
Aye.
Commissioner Flores Weisskopf? Vice President Ruttenberg?
Aye.
President Kaplan?
Aye, motion passes. Are there any additions to the agenda?
Wait, what was the motion? The motion was to close the public hearing, so we prove it on the regular agenda?
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
Are there any additions to the agenda? Is there anyone from the public who wants to comment on any items on the agenda? Okay. Consent agenda. Have you all looked at it?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So move.
Second.
Second.
Roxanne?
Commissioner Bernstein?
Aye.
Commissioner Grossberg?
Aye.
Commissioner Flores Weisskopf? Vice President Ruttenberg?
Aye.
President Kaplan?
Aye. Motion carries. Before we get to unfinished business, of which we have none, I want to just, we're on tape tonight?
Yes.
Okay, so part of the consent agenda was a Park District of Highland Park rules for public comment. And I believe the impetus of this was that the city did the same thing.
They have a very similar policy and ordinance for public comment.
It is
Yes.
District 112 and 113.
They both do. Yes.
Okay, and what I'd like to do is, since we're on tape, I will read into, on the record, what the Park District of Highland Park rules for public comment are. Pursuant to policy number 2.06.14 of the Park District Policy Manual, the board has adopted and approved the following ordinance regarding rules for public comment. 1. All speakers will sign in, including name and address, and they will sit at the table or podium and speak into the microphone and state their names before addressing the board. Each person or representative is limited to speak one time only unless the board president or presiding officer determines that allowing a speaker to address the board more than once will contribute new information germane to an issue on the agenda for that meeting. 3. All comments from the public will be limited to 3 minutes per person. The president or presiding officer reserves the right to suspend or limit the length of time public comment may occur without prior notice. 4. No debate or cross-examination of speakers is permitted. Comments should be directed to the Park Board Commissioners only. And lastly, 5. All comments must be civil in nature. Any person who engages in threatening, slanderous, or disorderly behavior when addressing the board may result in loss of speaking privilege and possible removal from the meeting. And that's our ordinance. And there will be a copy of the ordinance on the sign-up sheet and if need be, we can post it on the wall and people see it on the way in.
Can I ask a question about it? I want to make sure that I'm understanding the meaning of it. For number 2, each person is limited to speak one time only. Is that per agenda item if it is on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. Because it would seem like someone may have good information about more than one agenda item.
But
Without-
this is also for the section where we get to open to the public to address the board. It's not just for agenda.
Yeah.
So if it's agenda items, it's unlimited. I think to address the board, it's a 3-minute shot.
Got it. So this is saying, in a way, maybe as well, so I can completely understand it, that if a person stood up at the end of the meeting, it was time for public, and gave their 3 minutes, and then 3 other people got up and did their spiel, and then that person wanted to come back, it's up to your discretion to say, yes, sure.
Correct.
That's what, okay, got it. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Treasurer's report. Mr. Becker.
We have some unfinished business also.
Oh, my notes say unfinished business, none.
Well, we've got the supplemental budget.
That is on the, yeah, it's unfinished business. Must
Okay,
left
unfinished
off the
business.
notes, sorry.
Approval of ordinance 19.07, supplemental budget and appropriation for the PDHP for the fiscal year of 2019. Thank you, Mr. Welch.
You're welcome.
Well, as you all just witnessed, we had
Sorry
a
about
hearing for the supplemental budget and appropriation ordinance. Nobody commented on the ordinance, so now it is your opportunity to vote on it. As you will recall, the only change was the inclusion of the NSSRA acquisition of their new facility and paying our portion of it, which was an unbudgeted item.
And for we're on tape, we're obligated to do this by agreement with NSSRA.
That is correct.
We and the other 11.
There's 13 districts and a village and one other member. Can't remember what it
And
is.
everybody contributes a share pursuant to the agreement with NSSRA.
Correct.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Ready by motion?
Yes.
Can I get a motion to approve ordinance 19-07, the supplemental budget and appropriation for the Park District of Highland Park for the fiscal year of 2019?
So move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any additional comments or questions by the commission? Roxanne?
Commissioner Bernstein?
Aye.
Commissioner Grossberg?
Aye.
Commissioner Flor-Swicekoff? Vice President Ruttenberg?
Aye.
President Kaplan?
Aye. Motion carries.
Thanks. After these are signed, we will take them to the county so that they're all legal and on time. So,
Okay, now, treasurer's report.
thank you. Well, you've all seen the report. Fortunately, the story remains the same for the district. Despite some downturns in revenue for many operations, margins have actually increased, and they've actually made more money than what they budgeted. I touched on this a little bit last month, but we continue to operate with great efficiency. The same holds true for general operating expenses, as virtually every line item is under budget. The biggest reason we show the surplus that we do is because we haven't spent the amount of capital that we had intended. Finally, I just want to remind everybody that between now and the end of the year, there will be substantial transfers made out of the general fund for $622,000 and nearly $3.5 million from the rec fund to support capital.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Good to go. Okay, new business. You ready? Smile. Camp report. Kathy Fiore
And Jessica.
Just where it is.
and Jessica Ray. Sorry, Jessica.
That's okay, no worries.
Let me get my stuff out of here.
You're fine. No, you're fine.
Shrek.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Thanks for having us for our annual camp report. We're especially excited to present this year's report. We had a really great season. First and foremost, we want to thank you all for providing us with the opportunity to provide our community with 20 different camps. Like I said, during one of our best camp seasons yet. We also would like to thank the North Suburban Special Recreation Association for helping us make our camps inclusive to all children who want to participate. And of course, we want to recognize the support we have received from each and every department throughout the district to really make our camp special and one of a kind and stand out from the other camps in the area. So today, Jessica and I are here to review some of our highlights from 2019 and of course what we have to look forward to for 2020.
So we welcomed 1,202 very excited campers in 20 different camps, which was a 5.5% increase compared to last year. And we awarded 34 Smile scholarships. We employed 200 adventure guides, also known as our seasonal staff, and had an estimated 60% retention rate.
2019 was a really exciting year where we implemented lots of changes and improvements which attributed to our increase in registration. So because we provide more than just a typical day camp experience, we worked with our marketing department to kind of incorporate that into our camp messaging. So our marketing department came up with our new theme called Find Your Adventure, and we incorporated this in every way possible throughout camp. So throughout our camp promotions, rather, with social media being so big, we kind of did a nod to nostalgia with Polaroids of kids doing different camp activities with cute captions on the bottom, just to kind of get kids excited about what's to come for camp. Our camp apparel got an update where, like Jessica mentioned, our campers on the back of their shirt said Adventure Found, and the camp staff, instead of just boring staff, said Adventure Guide to kind of reiterate our messaging and our themes of camps. The registration department also really helped us make our camps more financially accessible to our community. This year we applied the $50 sibling discount starting at the second child, whereas in the past it started at the third child. So that was a savings to our community. With our big camp numbers, we wanted to make sure we were able to accommodate everyone. So with special attention to our older age group, we offered a new camp, Senior Crew XL. This camp was for children in 6th through 8th grade. So 48 campers participated in this program, which we were really pleased with for a first-year program. This was also held at Sunset Woods Park with Junior Crew and Senior Crew. Continuing to focus on 6th through 10th grade age group, we improved the CIT program. This year we allowed CITs to choose which camp they wanted to work with at the time of registration. This really benefited the program because it allowed CITs to coordinate registering with their friends, making sure parents could kind of plan out logistics where they were going to be dropping the kids off, and ultimately making sure they were really engaged in and committed to the camp that the CITs were going to be working at, which really helped them leave a very positive impact on each camp. The Spotlighters program final performance was held at Highland Park High School, and this provided additional sound and mic options, which allowed us to have more campers than ever participate in our final production, which is something that they all really look forward to. Tennis camp, crew camps, and CIT and Spotlighters all saw significant increases in enrollment, which you'll see throughout the camp report. This was partially due to a demographic shift, but also those supervisors and managers really paid attention to customer feedback and different trends and did major updates to their camp curriculum. We were really excited to have so many campers in 2019, so we made sure that we really gave them an outstanding experience. So our new field trips this year focused on adventure, stepping outside of comfort zones, building confidence, and really lasting experiences and memories for them. So to name a few, our campers tested their balance, overcame their fear of heights, and most importantly, practiced teamwork at Heller Nature Center's crate stacking program. They went scuba diving at High Quarry, they learned trapeze, and really had a great time at Boundless Adventures, Funtopia, and Ultimate Ninja Warrior was a favorite that they experienced this year.
As a result of having these amazing adventures during the summer, we received positive feedback from parents. So I'm just going to read a few. We had a Camp Sunshine parent write, "As a camp professional, I understand all the work that goes into creating the summer experience that Camp Sunshine provides. The activities are great, the counselors are unbeatable, and the communication is fantastic. My kiddo gained so much confidence this summer because of you all. Thank you for all the work you put into making summer so magical for all the campers and parents." A Truckers parent wrote, "Very happy with this camp experience. Fostered independence, social skills, and self-confidence in my son." We also had a tennis camp parent write, "Tennis camp is great. My kid had so much fun at tennis camp. Tennis coaches are very nice, super friendly, and professional. I will recommend this camp to all my friends." Thanks to parents and counselors' feedback, as well as the hard work from our camp directors and our supervisors, we have tons of exciting new changes for 2020. Sand Trackers and Coast Guardians will become a new combined camp, and it will be called High Tide, Low Tide. So it will be offered to 1st and 4th graders. It will be held at Rosewood Beach to still expose campers to the unique and beautiful environment that Rosewood has to offer. A new variety camp called Into the Wild will be offered at Heller as well. This camp is offered to 3rd through 6th graders and offers week options as well as weekly themes. Before and after camp will now be available for all ages. Camp Sunshine's 3-year-olds will extend their hours to meet the older age groups. Big Top, Little Top will offer a 4-week camp program. And Crew has some exciting changes, offering weekly robo-coding and magic classes. Senior Crew XL will have 2 field trips a week, and 2 weeks of Mini Crew will be offered as well. As always, we're looking to improve our registration process, and next year we plan to offer discounts right away as families sign up.
And to kind of give you guys a visual of what camp was like this summer, Kate from our marketing department put together a video with some highlights. I'm going to play this for you, and then after the video, we're happy to answer questions and, of course, take any comments that you have.
I like the music, huh?
I like the music.
That is good.
I'm glad you like it. So difficult.
What was that little circle?
She's verklempt over there. Oh,
Wow.
Does anyone have any questions for us about camp?
I hear one.
Yeah.
I know the numbers have been trending down, but are we going to try circus camp one more time?
We are. So we kind of looked at our options with our our partners, Jay and Tosca, who provide the horses and the circus specialties. So they are willing to do it for 4 weeks, which we did last year. It was very successful. So we're going to offer it again at 4 weeks. And yeah, I think we had a lot of good feedback about that last year.
That's great.
I think the other feedback that we received from staff was the 4-week camp provides a unique opportunity that it did not in the past, where the 4-week campers get to do the show at the end, and it used to be only the 7-week campers could do the performance. So now it's kind of an added bonus, yeah, to those who just do 4 weeks. So.
Yeah, and one other thing too, in addition to that, is now it's instead of competing with overnight camps, it's kind of a supplement to overnight camps. So it works out
That's the
nicely.
first 4.
Yep.
Correct. First 4.
That's great. Thank you.
I have a couple quick questions. So with the success of the XL Senior Crew, where were these kids, had they gone in the past?
Oh, Carrie, I know this one.
Go ahead.
Because I was going to comment on this. I've been waiting for you guys to come with the summer results. And so my son Jeremy has done the crew camps. They're this perfect combination for a kid who's not, like my son Nate did Hell or Nature. He'd be like a trekker kid. And then you have those really sporty kids. And my son Jeremy fell kind of in between that. Like he liked the arts and crafts, but he likes the sports. So the kids just would do crew. It was called crew. So you have junior crew, senior crew. But what started to happen, which was brilliant, because you have a 4th grader with a 6th grader. So remember, at our age, what's a couple of years? But when you're talking about elementary school, junior high, a year or 2 difference is huge. So Jeremy found himself with 10-year-olds being a 12-year-old. So what was happening is these older kids were the oldest of this bunch, and they were, camp wasn't as cool. They obviously were more, confident and outgoing, and it kind of, I think, intimidated even some of the younger kids. So what was happening, they were still in our crew camps, but they were the oldest of the bunch. And like I said, Jeremy loved camp so much, and he had to go to overnight camp because we do 4 weeks. And he said he was so glad he got to go just for the 4 weeks. It's such a great idea. It put him with kids his own age, still doing most of the same field trips and activities that the crew does, the junior and senior crew. Maybe junior not so much with the senior crew, but it gets him with his own age group, and that makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
And that was just fantastic.
Yeah,
And it's such a again, crafts, you've got field trips, karate, everything that they brought in.
Yeah, and Natalie Liang, a lot of you know her. She's not here tonight, but she is a very hands-on supervisor. So she would really go and watch what they liked, what they were into. And Mariana, having overseen the camp in previous years, as we observed, kind of saw that same thing. So it was really nice to kind of separate those 2 age demographics, but also the kids, when they would leave crew, they were kind of sad to leave. So now they can stay with us for a longer time, which is really nice. And it was really interesting to see that expanding the crew camp age group did not diminish our registration in other camps for that age group, which was really nice to see. So for example, CIT's registration continued to increase while we had this quote-unquote internal competition. We served a bigger population, which was really nice to see as well.
And Annette, do you have a new theme for 2020, or are you going to continue the journey
We really like the Adventure Found,
Okay.
Find Your Adventure, rather.
Right.
I think it speaks very nicely to what we do and kind of takes us out of that typical day camp category. So we're having fun with it. We have our marketing meeting coming up for next year. I know our marketing team's already been working on it, and we're going to kind of start to dig more into our campaign. But as far as I know, we're going to...
I think that's our brand.
Yeah, we really had fun with it.
Nice.
So I think we're going to stick
Okay.
with it.
And my final thing is are these numbers, does this, I know we're recorded, but does this get put on a website or anything like that? Like, I think the residents of Highland Park would be astounded by what we do with these
camp
camps.
report on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
It's
should.
just,
yeah,
it's just
great.
mind-blowing how many lives we touch. If we're doing 1,200 kids and each has 1.8 parents or whatever it is like
Yeah.
that, and grandparents and everything like that, it's amazing. So, great job.
Thank you.
And the other thing about the senior crew, the XL, is that a lot of kids aren't ready to be CITs, nor are they interested. The kids don't know they want to
Yeah.
in summer, so you saw, because the CIT numbers didn't go down, that there was still a big group that we would have just lost because they
Exactly.
weren't ready to be CIT. They're interested in, we captured that group, we retained them.
Yeah, and that's a hard age group to retain, so we were especially happy to see senior spotlighters, tennis, all of those age groups. We really had big numbers with those ages, so it definitely, it gets us excited to plan more updates, and we definitely saw results from the updates we did in 2019, so.
I think it's, in general, we talk about our staff and our programs and our facilities, and how, we're always ahead of the trends, or we're learning and taking from other park districts and whatever we can think of, and we listen to our residents. But I have to say, I feel like as well as we do everything, and I really believe we do, camp is just what we do best. I have to tell you, people think of the park district as being a good value, when you have not, necessarily overnight camps can get too expensive, or kids aren't ready or mature enough to go away. And I like that parents see it as just as good as a banner type. It's not for everyone, but I really think we do it really well.
Yeah, and I think that can be attributed to the fact that we have such amazing amenities here. So whereas other camps have to go on a field trip to go to the beach or go to a tennis pro, go to a golf course, we have everything. And, as a park district, we all work together, but really, truly, when it comes to camps, every single department works on camps together all year long. And I think that's the difference,
Yeah, and that's how we do it best, because you're taking
Yeah.
everyone, the collaboration.
It's fun.
It's just it's so great. I love the video. Thank you for showing us that. Our kids aren't little anymore, and one day they're off to college.
Oh.
That's why I love the little ones. Good job. I love this update.
Mr. Bernstein.
I jokingly said when I saw this on the agenda, this is my favorite meeting of the year, which really is, because, it's very impressive what you do every year to keep the camps fresh. Mm-hmm. Because obviously they could, it's very easy to get stale and just phone it in, so to speak. But, you guys think out of the box every year on an annual basis, and it's really, that really shows the numbers, because, as we've seen through athletics and other things, the drop of the correlation, the drop of the demographics of the community. There's less kids, yet our numbers for our camps remain very strong and exceed last year, the year before that. So that's really a testament to you guys for putting in a very attractive product out there, so you can't compete with the commercial camps that are out there, because people want to come here. And lastly, and I say this every year, and I really do mean this, I really appreciate what you do for the youth of our community. I'm talking about the counselors and the directors who a lot of these are former campers, are Highland Park residents, and I think over the summer, the Park District, if not the largest, is one of the largest employers in Highland Park, if you add all these seasonal employees, and you're not only, providing lessons and experiences for the campers, but you're also doing it for the counselors and the directors, teaching things. And I think I mentioned this last year, the year before. My oldest son was interviewing for jobs, and he had on his resume that he was a camp counselor and a camp director, and employers found that very important. Mm-hmm. And they asked a lot about it, and that was an important element in trying to, when he was hired for his first job out of college. And so I think you make it for the counselors and the directors. You give them the experience and the trust that flows through when they are ready to enter the workforce. They've gained a very valid and important experience working for the Park District of Highland Park, and you should be very happy about that, because as our counselors and directors go out into the quote-unquote real world, you guys provide a great foundation for them. So thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. We like to send that message out, and marketing has helped us. Our recruitment has actually gone a lot better for camps recently, because we started kind of incorporating that in our messaging, where it doesn't matter what career path you're going into. Here you're learning leadership skills, teamwork, all this, and it's really made an impact, and it's interesting because we've all kind of commented to each other, we're amazed at the quality of candidates that we have applied for these jobs. It's really impressive. And
I know there's always a rush that you think, you're in college, this summer you should have an internship. Everyone thinks, but it's still very valuable being a camp counselor and a camp director, and that looks just as good on your resume when you're applying for a job as making coffee or making copies somewhere, so.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, that's an excellent point, because it's in this indirect kind of cool way, it's long-term marketing. Because you have a camper who turns into a counselor, right?
Mhm.
And, you know, I can speak to that because I was a Park District camper, and then I was a counselor when I was in high school and college. And really, when you're young, it's those feelings that you have. Like, I had good memories of summer camp, of pools, grass, you know, all that good stuff. And then it's interesting because we speak of how we're in this very rare community where people move back home. So of course, I think of having the experience I had, I think of the Park District for my children. So, you know, long term, you know, these kids will hopefully come back because their parents had a good experience with the Park District.
Well, not only that, but this is their port of entry to the Park District. For most young parents, other than maybe bringing your child to the beach or bringing them to a park, this is maybe the first time they bought something out of the brochure. So if
Yeah.
we're giving them a great experience when their kids are 2 years old or 3 years old, that sets us up as a Park District to be successful.
Yeah, and
So
we
that's
strongly
huge.
consider that in all of our programming, and not just not just their age, but the fact that they're being exposed to so much of the Park District when they do a camp. So yeah, we take that very seriously.
Not only the first, Terry, but also the most expensive. If you think about the amount that, you know, versus a couple $100 a class, this is the first time they're making an investment in the Park District and seeing their return on it.
Thanks, guys. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So like we said, you're welcome. Like we said, it's a big partnership, and we also, Kari's here, and we wanted to give Aquatics a big shout out. Kept our campers super safe, taught us so many ways to help keep our campers safe in the pool and water, and really had an impactful swim lesson program. So they're going to come up and give you an overview of their season.
Thank you very much. Great presentation.
Thank you.
I love that presentation.
You'll be smiling for the next 10 minutes. That's the Kathy Gary effect.
We get to follow that. No pressure. So thank you for having us. Kari and I are here to give you guys the end of season aquatics report for 2019. And for the 2019 season, first, we would like to thank everybody for the opportunity to offer this service to the community, and for all the departments that help us put this together and really maintain 3 aquatic facilities throughout the summer. It's not a small undertaking, but we had a very good, very successful season this year, and that started with a very good preseason preparation. So for our preseason, the aquatics team hired, trained, and supervised 130 employees. That's between lifeguards, custodial staff, front desk staff, everybody that it takes to put that operations together. Kari here conducted about 50 hours of preseason training with all staff. We had some very important goals for this season, and really was about high safety standards throughout the season from beginning to end. And to achieve that goal, we had some initiatives which included conducting random audits to ensure staff was rescue ready at all times. Consistent use of 3 points of contact on getting off and on and off the lifeguard stand to prevent our staff from being hurt. Weekly mandatory in-service training to make sure everybody had their skills on point in case of an emergency. Live action drills during the shifts to again ensure safety readiness, because you always think you're ready and then it happens and some people freeze, so we like to train that. And then having a preseason and a during season training in conjunction with the Highland Park Fire Department to make sure that our response to emergency situations was smooth from beginning to end. So from the time that we get to the emergency to the time that the fire department responds to that emergency. Also in preparation for the 2019 aquatic season, we made several improvements, especially to the Hidden Creek Aqua Park. which included a new slide pump and a rebuild of our future pumps, a roof replacement for the bathhouse and the pump house, 40 new party chairs and 20 new game-style blue chairs, and 4 new guard chairs. So that's our preseason, and Kari is going to tell you how the season went.
Okay, so Hidden Creek's operating season was May 25th through September 2nd. Some of our highlights this summer, some of our numbers, we had 32,172 daily visits, 8,815 camp visits, 418 season passes were sold this summer, and 40 rentals were booked throughout the summer. Rosewood Beach also operated from May 25th through September 2nd. Some of our highlights for Rosewood, we worked with the Highland Park Police Department to improve parking lot monitoring by our CPAs, which resulted in a 21% increase in parking admissions compared to 2018. On high peak days, we also offered a convenience shuttle from Ravinia School parking lot. Overall, we had a successful summer and a safe summer for 2019. There's always opportunities for improvements, and staff is making several recommendations to improve our services to the Highland Park community in 2020. To address the ongoing challenges of recruiting and hiring lifeguards in the aquatic profession, recruitment of staff is beginning in January, with skills training beginning in April this year, or for next year. Increase our hourly rate for lifeguards to $12.50 to attract and retain staff. Certify all lifeguards for both waterfront and deep water operation. To improve overall operations and increase efficiency, limit our hours during pre-season. To improve rental revenue and overall customer satisfaction, we'll utilize online registration for birthday party and picnic table rentals, and operating concessions in-house and create party packages.
And then to improve our overall facility conditions and upkeep, we'll continue to utilize the knowledge and experience of our facility engineer as well as the Parks Department to continue to improve and implement a preventive maintenance plan, especially for Hidden Creek Aqua Park. We'll continue to staff a shared custodial staff to allow for deep cleaning to happen in off hours, especially to the bathhouse at Hidden Creek. As well as we have some planned enhancements to the facility for 2020, which include a new sand filtration system, the resurfacing of the slides, a new pool heater, and the shell on the pool being resurfaced and painted.
The aquatic team has also hired a new aquatic supervisor with extensive experience and passion for the field.
Overall, we had a really great season. We're hoping for an even better one in 2020, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just follow up on a couple things for a second? Thank you. Springing off what you said, Terry, and the report I just heard from our two great teams, there were over 100,000 touches of a child or an adult during the course of our season, attending a camp, going to the beach, but we interacted through the Park District with probably 100,000 people, which is, if you think about it in those terms, it's not, and I'm not diminishing, it's not 1,200 kids at camp. It's not, 500 people learning to swim. It's 100,000 people who had some contact with us. They're the same people maybe, but that's an astonishing number. And I just, I'm thrilled with that. I'm thrilled with the two reports, and everybody is saying, lauding the praises, and I echo that. I just wanted to just take that to that step about the number.
And I think we experience that on the day-to-day as well, where we have a kid in camp and we know that family, and then you go to the water park and you see the mom, and then you go to the beach and you see the dad, and making sure that that overall experience with the Park District is a positive one, not just one positive here, but overall they're supporters of the Park District because their day-to-day experience with us is we know them, we provide great service no matter where they are, and we recognize that this community has really high standards, and we always strive to meet it and hopefully go above it with that wow factor.
Yes, we do.
And it's really not only about safety, about fun, but it's safety. I mean, we're so blessed to have had another safe summer because you have all these swimmers, and so much can go wrong, and that's why our staff needs to be on alert all the time, and knock on wood, we continue another fun and safe season next year.
And to give Kari props for this, I was at Hidden Creek multiple times where we had responses to situations and, many, many years of experience. Not only I watched a very smooth and safe rescue or whatever it was that they were dealing with, but we got comments from parents and people that were at the pool just about how smooth and they clearly knew what they were doing. So all that training on the preseason really showed during the season, because you never have a season that nothing happens.
Right.
What you want is have a season where if something does happen, we respond accordingly and people are safe.
I have a policy question that I believe it was at the beginning of the summer that you changed the height of the kids that could go down the slide. Is that right? Like 42 to 48 or something like that. So are you satisfied with the way that was communicated? After it happened, are you happy with the way people didn't try to beat the system and everything like, and do you have any other kind of changes like that for safety?
We haven't made a recommendation yet. We are still making that decision for next year, but reality is that the height change for the slides was a requirement from the building of the slides. So at one point it was decreased, but that was not a recommendation that should have been kept. So it was a smart and the safe way to go about to really use the recommendations of the maker of the slide for who is supposed to go down the slide. Now, that was found at a certain time where communication didn't go as early as we would hope. But once you discover something like that, you have to be proactive and make sure that we are being as safe as we can be.
Sure.
The worst that we could do is find that out and then not do it and not make the change because we're afraid of backlash from the community. I think that our community is very safety conscious. And as much as it's hard to tell a child that was able to go down the slide that they cannot go down the slide, it would be a lot harder to allow for a child to go down the slide and then they get hurt as a consequence of our decision.
I wish you moved it to 60 inches so my grandkid doesn't tell me to go down the slide.
Now, with that being said, in order to help the transition for the community, we did allow for them to swim test and
Right.
prove their swimming skills in order to go down if they met that threshold. We have, again, not made a recommendation for next year, but we hope to have that ready for January. And then to be able to communicate to all the community as well as pass holders and so on and so forth. But I think that it's safe to say that all of us and the community appreciates that we err on the side of caution.
Absolutely.
Calvin?
Yes. I spent a lot of time at Hidden Creek this
You
summer.
did, yes,
I was
you
there a
did.
lot.
You did
and
great.
I know.
That was impressive.
I really enjoyed myself there. What? It's been there for 2 minutes every day. Okay, so
2
I
minutes
went
a day is 2 minutes more than anybody in their bed.
Okay, what I would say is that the lap swimmers were very happy. It seemed like the numbers at the water group exercise class are much higher than they used to be. I don't know if that's been, whether an instructor or something is very popular. But the one constant concern that I've heard, and I want to ask you, is tell us about concessions.
That was my question.
Tell us about concessions. So
really
we did
exciting.
have
It's out of our hands.
Yeah, no, exactly.
we did have an outside provider for concessions this
Yeah,
year.
yes.
And we experienced, and the community experienced, a service that was not up to par as to what we expect to give the community. The majority of the complaints were about the fact that concessions were not open at all times when the facility was open. And that's certainly a concern for us. And that's what pushed us for 2020 to run concessions in-house. So we, as a park district and park district staff, will be taking on concessions to make sure that we're providing a service that is up to standards to our community. Because, like we said, it's hard not to have control over certain things. So we're basically taking control of concessions again to be able to offer a better service to the community. I guess we have a lot of goals for concession, but I think the number one goal is to make sure that when Hidden Creek is open, the concessions are open. They get the great park district customer service that they would receive anywhere else at our concessions. And then at Rosewood Beach, because it's a different operation, will be open during peak times.
So we're going to do in-house at Rosewood also?
That's correct.
Okay, and then I hope in the spring you can bring us a menu, show us what you're intending to do
We're
there.
working on it.
A
Okay.
tasting
Good
menu.
sample.
Yeah, it was a great summer, and then thank you very much. And again, everyone's, I got back into swimming this year, so I'm really happy.
It's just so
Yeah,
great. It's
yeah.
such a good exercise. And we encourage more people to do it.
Great PSA.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, next is the Parks Foundation update. Commissioner Gross will present.
It's going to be as good.
It is not, it's going to be better, because I'm turning it over to Liz. The meeting was concurrent with our meeting here last week, so I was unable to attend, but Liz was there, and she has some really cool news.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Yes, so last week, or 2 weeks ago, no, last week.
Yeah.
Time flies. The Parks Foundation met. The foundation is now up to 10 members. There is also an application that I believe the foundation has in hand for student liaison. So we're getting close to being kind of at that sweet spot, I think, for the foundation of 12 to 15 members. Last week, the conversation at the meeting really centered around two topics. The first one is a new opportunity that a resident has presented to the foundation for an annual $10,000 golf scholarship. It's in memory of her husband. Her name is Judith Goldman. Her husband was Michael Goldman, and she would like the scholarship to go to middle school to high school students in Highwood and Highland Park who either have or potentially at risk or economically disadvantaged. And so the Parks Foundation is working out details right now and logistically on how this scholarship will work. But the service that we would provide would be private lessons with our golf pro, also providing these students with golf clubs and bags that they can use for the duration of the time that they're taking lessons. They would be private lessons, so it would give these students the opportunity to work with a pro one-on-one, and they would have the opportunity, if they liked what they were doing and were progressing, that they could continue with the scholarship year after year. So it's $10,000 that she will, reinvest every year for this program. So that's an exciting program.
Very nice.
The other piece of business that they worked on is working through their new strategic plan. They have a 2-year strategic plan that was outlined, and they are now in the process of, they've divided up into 4 subcommittees, and the subcommittees are working on tasks and timelines for the 2-year strategic plan. And the topics are, the first one is fundraising and capital projects. So there is a subcommittee for that. Board structure and governance and the bylaws, subcommittee for that. Recruitment and presence in the community is the third one. And marketing, identity, and brand awareness is the 4th subcommittee.
And I just want to add on to that, I'm planning on personally contacting each one of the members just to answer any of their questions and give them sort of the because some people are just hopping on and then getting started, which is great, but just trying to give them some background and other things like that. So Bob Bernstein, the president, and I are going to meet to try to facilitate a conversation with each member so that we don't lose board members quickly when they realize, wait, this isn't what I expected, or this is too much for me, or whatever. Just try to get it all down so we can count on these people to, be here for a while. So that's kind of the next step.
So when we first started the foundation, didn't we ask for a 2-year commitment? Are we still asking for something like that, or how's that looking? We're not getting it?
Well, we have a curtain group that has been there
Right.
pretty long, but we did have several people that were on it and then weren't.
Okay.
Things change, I mean,
Right, no, I didn't know if we required that.
I don't know that we've ever mentioned that. I think if you're an officer,
It's in the bylaws.
it's in the
yeah.
bylaws.
Okay, I just remember that somewhere. And also, do you think there would be the opportunity to help the foundation by having them, are they allowed to attend the IAPD, IPRA conferences? Because they do fundraising, there's other really interesting ones that I've always wanted to go to, that didn't really pertain
Yeah.
to my background. Maybe that's a good opportunity to invite the president or whoever's ever in charge of whatever. committee.
I think we probably have some people that would be interested.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion.
A lot of
Yeah.
expertise there. I'm so thrilled to hear you say Highwood, from the foundation friendly, reach the right, the right people, and it's just more common to hear Highland and Highland kids.
Yeah, yeah.
It's terrific.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Director's report.
Yeah, so since we met, this is the third time actually in October, but October 1st, I gave a lot of the Halloween updates, some of which occurred last weekend at the Recreation Center, but I will re-mention this Friday, there is the West Ridge Trick or Treat, so all families should come to this event on Friday. It's free for all ages from 5:30 to 7:30 right here at the wonderful West Ridge Center. Also, this Saturday at Sunset Valley, one of our final events at the golf club. It's obviously getting a little chillier out, but we do have a chili open, which is also a hard course challenge. So they'll be setting up the course to its most difficult level, challenging golfers to come out and yeah.
Outside.
So if you're looking for a good challenge and a good bowl of chili, come on out to Sunset Valley. It's $55 per person.
What's the weather supposed to be?
Tea times are early in the morning. Other than that, would you like an update on the meeting last night, the stormwater management?
How'd you guess?
I just had a feeling.
Yes, we'd like it last night's meeting.
So there was the city hosted a stormwater meeting last night. Rebecca Grill, who's unfortunately not here tonight, was at the meeting, and she gave me some notes to share from that meeting. But my understanding was that it was very well attended. There was maybe 70 residents that were in attendance, as well as representatives from the city, obviously, as well as Senator Morrison and representatives from Lake County, from Stormwater Management, from the Army Corps, and so obviously addressing the initial report from the Army Corps that the Highland Park Country Club property was did not come back from the feasibility study from the Corps as an option for regional stormwater management. So there was a lot of discussion. I know the stormwater management reported that there was new funding to stabilize some stream banks on the Skokie River, I believe in Lake Forest, some more upstream, and there's also, we're doing some work at Community Park for shoreline stabilization, but that there may be some federal funding that they're looking for to help expand the lake at Community Park. So they're still seeking federal funding for that. And so the call was really from the mayor to look for more solutions on this issue that affects Highland Park as well as other communities in the region up along the Skokie River. And the Army Corps also brought up there's some additional funding that Lake County may also be included in the future. And so there was discussion regarding that. And then potentially using Army Corps restoration funds for that storage space again at Community Park. So it was, a lot of good discussion, and we'll keep in contact with the city and on next steps and understanding what.
What was the general tenor of the audience?
Well, like I said, I wasn't there. I'd have to rely on
I
Rebecca
can go.
to kind of give us, but I think there's a calling for some support financially, obviously, to help create some stormwater management solutions that currently there's not funding for. So,
Thank you.
Tell us about Rosewood, when they starting.
Rosewood started on Monday.
This one, it started?
It started 2 days ago.
Okay.
So they will start bringing the truckloads of sand will start coming tomorrow. So this was more just stabilization, doing protection of the parking lot and the boardwalk. So really just getting set for the sand to start being delivered. And I think the last I heard, Jeff, that there's going to be 30 trucks that will kind of go on a loop throughout the day.
Tomorrow will be the first day to bring in the material. We might go a little slower, but after that, they expect to have as many as maybe 100, 125 loads a day.
Wow. Yeah. And they start as early as 7 a.m. and they'll go until it's dark.
Any feedback from any of the neighbors or? some notices?
We've talked to a few, but that we reached out to. Nobody's really. I think maybe one inquiry about it, but everyone's really understanding and just kind of asked for a little bit more information. But we've put out a lot on our website. We've sent out letters to the neighborhood and postcards as well on 2 occasions. So I think the word's out there and people are aware that it's happening.
And the parking lot's closed.
And the parking lot, the entire beach, including the lower parking lot, is closed. And there'll be an attendant at the top with the contractor who will only be waving in trucks who will be allowed to access the beach. So
How long do we expect the project to take again?
So they said 20 to 25 working days. So without weather, it could be about 6 weeks. So early December. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Any other board comments? Open to the public to address the board. Anybody want to follow our new rules and address the board?
It requires you to go up to the bench.
Ben, you can't argue with me anymore.
Brian, I did have a question for Brian, very quickly. I just noticed in your notes that you had a very successful response to a pickleball tournament, but it got rained out. Has that been rescheduled?
My understanding is that it's not, 'cause it's just the timing,
Okay.
Everybody plans for a weekend and that doesn't happen.
Okay,
Falls
thank
through. Yeah.
Hearing none. Can I get a motion to go into closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Open Meeting Act? Section 2C5, the purchase or lease of real estate, including discussion on whether a certain parcel of property should be acquired. In Section 2C6, the setting of a price for sale or lease of property owned by the district. And that's it?
So move.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, can you call the roll?
Commissioner Bernstein?
Aye.
Commissioner Grossberg?
Aye.
Commissioner Flores Wyskoff? Vice President Ruttenberg?
Aye.
President Kaplan?
Aye, we're in close, thank you.
Thank you very much. Great presentation.
Great job, guys.
Thank you.
Great.
1 hour.
Great job.
Great job, President.
That's leadership right there.
Look, you often don't get complimented for the way you run a meeting.